Back in the summer of 1588, the largest naval force ever assembled was lumbering relentlessly toward the English coast. King Philip II governed an empire that stretched from the Americas to Asia. Flush with silver from the New World, Spain stood as the undisputed superpower of the era, deeply committed to defending and expanding global Catholicism. England stood in its path as a relatively small, isolated Protestant nation. To compete, Queen Elizabeth I relied on privateers like Francis Drake to raid Spanish ports and intercept treasure galleons crossing the Atlantic. Philip eventually lost patience with the raids. He financed a fleet of 130 ships, ordering them to sail through the English Channel, pick up the Duke of Parma's 30,000 elite ground troops in Flanders, and launch a full-scale invasion of the English mainland. To break that tightly packed formation, English commanders steered burning ships directly into the Spanish lines. The panicked fleet scattered into the North Sea, where violent storms battered their remaining galleons into kindling against the rocky coasts of Scotland and Ireland. The English celebrated a massive military triumph, but the thin margin between survival and total annihilation came down to a few days of unpredictable weather. Curious, shifting tone. If the summer winds had stayed calm, the Spanish Armada could have ignored the Channel entirely. Instead, they could have bottlenecked the English Navy while it was still trapped inside Plymouth Harbor. Crushing the English fleet at anchor gives Spain uncontested control of the coastal waters. With the local navy eliminated, the Armada has all the time it needs to ferry Parma's forces across the strait. Unhindered by English cannons, 30,000 battle-hardened Spanish veterans disembark on the beaches of Margate. England had no standing professional army in 1588. The defense falls to a collection of under-equipped local militias, forced to face the most disciplined and lethal infantry in Europe. The Spanish artillery easily punches through the meager defenses along the road to the capital. Within 8 days, London falls. Queen Elizabeth is deposed, effectively ending the Tudor dynasty. This collapse decapitates the Protestant movement, removing its wealthiest and most formidable political defender in a single campaign. Philip immediately installs a Catholic monarch loyal to the Spanish crown, likely someone like Elizabeth's cousin or even his own daughter, Isabella. The new regime begins a systematic dismantling of the English Reformation. State-mandated Catholic processions replace Protestant services. Citizens who refuse to convert face severe consequences. The Spanish Inquisition sets up local tribunals, and Protestant dissenters are burned at the stake. By pacifying the island, Spain eliminates the privateers raiding its treasure fleets and permanently secures its northern maritime border. Across the Channel, the Dutch Republic is fighting a grueling war for independence against Spanish rule. For years, English troops and financial subsidies kept the Dutch rebellion alive. With London under Habsburg control, that vital lifeline vanishes overnight. Cut off from Allied support, the Dutch forces collapse. Spanish tercios march through Flanders, breaching city walls and permanently locking the Netherlands under Habsburg authority. France suddenly finds itself trapped, with Spain controlling the Iberian Peninsula to the south, the Netherlands to the north, and now England across the strait. The French monarchy is entirely surrounded by a hostile superpower. This chart tracks the trajectory of global empires after 1588. Without independent Protestant regimes in London and Amsterdam, the British and Dutch East India Companies are never founded. Their colonial timelines abruptly terminate, leaving a massive vacuum. With its European rivals neutralized or conquered, Spain achieves an absolute monopoly over ocean trade and global colonization. Advance the clock a century, and the Atlantic Ocean looks entirely different. Spanish galleons sail unchallenged from Europe to the Americas. No English settlers arrive at Jamestown or Plymouth Lock. No Dutch merchants purchase the island of Manhattan. The North American continent is left wide open for unchecked Spanish expansion. The 13 colonies are never founded. Instead, the Spanish crown extends its territorial claims all the way up the eastern seaboard, from Florida to New England. Intellectual development shifts as well. Without the Protestant havens that historically protected controversial thinkers, the Inquisition strictly polices scientific inquiry, severely constraining the breakthroughs of the scientific revolution and the Enlightenment. The cascading effects rewrite modern geography. The United States of America is never created, and Spanish, not English, becomes the dominant language of global commerce and diplomacy. The borders we recognize and the language we speak are not inevitable facts of history. They exist today largely because a fierce summer storm blew through the English Channel in 1588.